Welcome to another episode of Where Did All My Friends Go? A podcast about life in the music industry. Today we got a nice little chat. It was a nice chat.
It was a nice chat.
And you know what I'm actually excited about with this chat, Bear?
What's that?
Is that for the first time, I think, in the podcast, I went off the rails at the end there. At the end there, I kept coming up with new stories and I
just got to be here for the ride, dude.
Yeah,
and
it's weird. You go off the rails. It's never me.
It's too frequent. It's often, and as all of our listeners can attest, I need to shut the fuck up.
No. If you were to shut the fuck up, could you imagine listening to a podcast with like no talking? It's just silence. I mean, it could be really like.
That's like the next level of ASMR where you're just hearing nothing.
Yeah, like you're listening to like blank, like just dead air, and it's like could be really soothing, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, give somebody who wants to do that dead air podcast some listens. Give them some streams.
Yeah,
let's start it. Let's
get into it.
But before we do that, we had a special guest, Amanda from Disorderly Clothing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go see what she's got to say.
Welcome back to another episode of Where Did All My Friends Go? A podcast about life in the music industry. And today, Pat, we have a very special guest with us. You want to introduce the guest?
Yeah, sure. We got Amanda from Disorderly Clothing. Say hi, Amanda.
What? Hello.
Hey.
Thank you. Everybody clap, round of applause.
Yeah, everybody out there in radio.
We always have the claps. Yeah.
Or fuck you. We don't know.
We don't know, but we appreciate whatever you bring into the table. We really do.
Like, there's probably somebody out there at 6 a.m. just going, ugh.
Yeah. Oh, God.
That's what we got.
Yeah, because they're driving on their way to work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's nothing happy at 6 a.m.
That's true.
The last thing you want to hear at 6 a.m. are like three very hyper people.
I know.
just hey, everybody, how's it going? Dude, you just like shut the fuck up for a second.
I know.
My car's too cold right now.
Turn it down.
One sip of coffee hasn't even hit the system yet. Can't do it.
I feel that.
Yeah.
So it's cold out there, right? Out in Mass.
It was okay. I'm gonna sound like a real New Englander when I say this, but it is fairly warm today. It was like 43.
No, see, that's 43 sounds incredible. We're in the Midwest, so
yes.
You guys...
So I mean, it was very cold over the past week. I think yesterday the wind chill was like -25, so it was very cold.
Yeah. I mean, that's just
sounds about right.
That sounds just like Duluth January.
Yep.
That's an everyday.
Just sounds
like today I was really excited. I was like, gosh, heat wave. It's like 15 degrees, I think.
Yeah, it's so weird. Yeah, 43. I was like, man, it's hot outside.
Oh, 43, I would be sweating.
Yeah. T-shirting it.
Shorts.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep. Shorts and boots. Stereotypical like Minnesotan right there.
Yeah, I
shorts, boots, and a sweater.
Yes, I went to Starbucks first thing this morning and I walked out. My husband was like, seriously? I was wearing sweats, a t-shirt, and a pair of Crocs with no socks. And there's snow on the ground. He was just looking at me like, there is something wrong with you. I didn't care.
Well, you'd fit perfectly up in the Midwest. With that said, Amanda, you are with Disorderly Clothing. You started Disorderly Clothing in 2020 to not only support music, but mental health. What made you want to start a clothing brand just in general, but also around that idea?
So I've always had the passion to have some sort of small business, A, and B, always wanting to do clothing. But I'm the type of person that there always has to be a meaning or a purpose behind what I'm doing, or I won't be motivated. And I've always struggled with my mental health from the age of ripe old 16. Trigger warning, I overdosed on drugs when I was 16 years old by hanging out with the wrong crowd. And after that, I was diagnosed with panic disorder, PTSD, and anxiety. And it just gravely affected essentially every aspect of my life. Right. And so when 2020 came around, I got laid off of work. And it just seemed like I've always been very passionate about helping people and being very empathetic and talking about mental health, and it never being some sort of taboo subject for myself or my husband. But when 2020 came around, COVID like really hit hard.
Yes.
It mental health became a huge freaking topic suddenly, because everybody all of a sudden had to kind of sit with themselves in this like isolation. And so, you know, social media was the only outreach a lot of people had. And so mental health became more of a topic. And I realized how taboo it really still is, and how many people that we know and care about struggle so gravely with it. So I was like, I've always wanted a clothing line. Mental health is something I've always been passionate about. So we put the two together and launched our first design, which was a shirt that says it's all too much. Then shortly after came the idea of having bands be incorporated with our brand, because a lot of our very close friends are in some very established bands, and metal has always been metal, and all subgenres have always been one of the most vulnerable types of music that there is out there, as far as speaking on taboo subjects or just being vulnerable and speaking truth about mental health and the darkness that comes with it. And knowing so many bands personally, and how much their music had helped us, and that genre in general just being a very I'd say the metal community is more like a family more than anything. It's very small. 100%. Yeah, so like I just feel like everybody supports one another. There's not really drama, but there is that aspect of like there not being support for mental health and so forth inside of it. So being that we were already so intertwined, we decided to start endorsing bands to get more of a family unit in the metal scene, and be able to outreach some more and like provide some like help with mental health.
Yeah. Which, I mean, out of all the music scenes that, I mean, I guess from my own experience, I can't speak for everything or everyone, but metal and, like you said, subgenres of metal, even down to pop punk, are some of the biggest advocates for things like mental health.
Right.
Absolutely.
And like you know, I used to think going to metal shows that these are the biggest, baddest motherfuckers out there, and then like they get off stage and they're the sweetest fucking people, and you're just it just blows you away. And on top of that, though, I want to bring it back to that idea of COVID kind of forcing this spotlight to be shown on mental health. I was watching something the other day, and I don't agree with it fully, but I'll get to it. But the guy said, COVID has finally made, and I'm using air quotes, normal people slightly understand what it's like to live with depression every day.
Yeah,
I agree. The only reason I don't subscribe to that fully is because we never know what anybody is ever going through at any given time. Especially, you know, who's quote unquote normal.
I agree as well, though, because with, you know, it was a really difficult time. Like, you had to, if you were alone, you were supposed to be alone. If you had a family, that is who you got to be with. And, you know, so like, especially those first 6 months of COVID, it was a real life changer, just life changer in general. And it was easy to get sad. It was easy to get depressed in the monotony. And not only that of you know, if you had kids, well, now you also have to be their teacher. And now you had, you know, it was a lot. It was an exceptional amount, an almost impossible amount.
Right. And I mean, even just outside of the depression topic from that quote that you're talking about, I mean, normal, quote unquote, people having to now experience anxiety in the sense that there was so much uncertainty as to when things were going to get better, if things were going to get better. Then, you know, people started experiencing health anxiety because now they're like, every single little symptom having to overthink and wonder, how do I protect my family? There's just so many like levels to what people had to start experiencing and speaking about and reaching out for and so forth. So yeah, I mean, it was far outside just depression, but I totally agree.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that I'm actually switch up just a little bit here. because you were talking about you wanted to start working with bands and things like that.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I noticed is like you have a pretty good sized roster currently of bands that you endorse. And from what I've checked out, they are mostly hardcore metal or, you know, anything like that. Do you, is it your goal to only work with artists in that genre, or do you have plans on branching out to other genres? Or
I think it'll only be the genre of metal and all sub-genres. So that could be from post-hardcore to hardcore to pop punk to, you know, anything in that spectrum of, I guess, I hope that makes sense. Metal
no, it does.
Alt music and all sub-genres in there. But I don't think we would want any other. And just for the simple fact that while I appreciate all music and I listen to all types of music, I just don't think anything highlights mental health and like true raw emotion. And the thing about us is our brand, there's so many mental health brands out there that put like a picture of a kitten and farting rainbows and saying, I have depression, but everything's fine. And they paint it as this really pretty picture, which for us, we're doing the opposite. We're putting some kind of dark artwork out there that has all of our artwork has a lot of deep rooted, like sentimental meaning behind it, as does all music, right? So it's just us wanting to stay true to the fact that not that we're promoting anxiety or depression or anything of that sort, but we are trying to stay realistic to what mental health is. And I feel like if we step too far outside of that genre musically, then it kind of goes against what we're trying to do.
And there's nothing wrong, or I should say inherently wrong, with, you know, making light of something, especially if it's a coping mechanism for a lot of people. But the reality of it is, you're right, it's not pretty, it's dark. You know, there's this joke it's a dark joke, but I'm sitting here like there's so much truth to it, where it's like, man, sometimes I don't care about COVID because I didn't think I was going to make it past 23.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like I don't, whatever. If I'm supposed to go, I'm supposed to go. And that's a horrible like thought. But at the same time, millions of people have thought the very same thing. You know, you could just, hey, fuck, what am I supposed to do in my 30s? I didn't get my shit together because I didn't think I'd be here this long. And, and it's like, the fucking reality behind that is so scary. And then even back to bringing the mental health awareness into the public eye has been a battle. And this isn't like shooting any shade towards this artist, but Logic released a song that was literally called the Suicide Hotline, right? Or like whatever the number was. And I'm happy that he did that. I'm like, it was really cool because it was able to bring shit to people who listen to, you know, Z104 or the pop stations or whatever. But at the same time, and I don't know if this is right of me to feel this way, but at the same time, I was like, dude, metal has been doing this shit for years and has gotten zero recognition. And the lyrics are so much deeper, and the content is just so much more real. And I'm not dissing Logic. What he did was fucking awesome. Super proud of that. That's cool as hell. But I'm sitting here like, have you listened to the Amity Affliction?
Oh my God.
Have you like,
that's the number one goal. If Disorderly had a goal on a band that we can reach, it's Amity Affliction.
Absolutely.
They are our inspiration for like wanting bands. Absolutely.
And it just like, don't lean on me because I am falling. Please don't fall with me. Like, meanwhile, you know, versus, and again, no shade, but versus, I don't want to be alive. It's like, okay, both are good. But like, if you're talking to someone who's like genuinely depressed, they already don't want to be alive. Okay?
They don't. And the thing of it is
already there.
And I agree fully, because what you're saying is kind of what our belief and our standpoint is. Yes, it is dark what we do. We're not promoting any of that stuff. We are having uncomfortable conversations and breaking stigmas, and all talk about mental health, whether it be positive or dark, whether it be, you know, dark humor or just like uplifting quotes and so forth. that's all good because it's positive. And like you said, everybody has different coping mechanisms, but it's just like telling somebody who's struggling, like, it'll be okay. You're going to be fine. You'll move past it. That doesn't help them in the moment. Right. Sometimes we have to face the darkness to be able to find some light. Because if we just sugarcoat it and paint over it and pretend everything's, you know, peaches and cream, then we're going to end up doing more damage than good. There's a thing called toxic positivity, and that's exactly what it is.
Wow.
Well, and it, like, I've worked in the, you know, before like starting this full time, I spent most of my adult life working in the mental health field. I worked in a group home for, gosh, like 13 years or something like that. And and it's just a completely like, just mental health, it still is pretty misunderstood. But especially the entire time I did that, it's completely misunderstood. And we've never, and until the pandemic hit, we never really saw clearly how much it was misunderstood until we saw all of the police brutality from that.
I mean, you're not to cut you off, but I mean, the fact that police brutality, Black Lives Matter, the politics at the time, everything on top of COVID, too much.
Yeah. And it wasn't until like COVID hit until we even started to really, as a collective world, see this so clearly.
Yes.
So it's a wild time.
It's crazy. And for anybody out there listening, and if Pat, if I cut out here, take it. Okay. But if anybody out there is listening that needs help or is in a place that you don't want to be, or you're uncomfortable, or you're alone, and maybe even your people have missed the signs or the signals, we're going to ask you to do one thing, and that's to take one extra step. Reach out to us, reach out to somebody. We're going to post links in this episode. But Pat and I are always here. Amanda from Disorderly Clothing is always here. Mental health awareness is so important because we've all fucking been there, especially people in the music industry, especially. You are not alone. You have value. You are loved, and you're worth it. Reach out, take one extra step. That's all we ask. And with that, let's get back into the meat of Disorderly Clothing. All right.
Yes.
All right. So when working with social media, which do you feel like you find the most success with, and why?
As far as which platform?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I might be a little biased here, and I might have some rude comments.
As far as
social media pisses me off. Listen, if MySpace was still the platform, I'd be such a happy camper. Oh my God.
Oh, me too.
Gold is a golden child of social media.
I agree. 100%.
It was so customizable. People actually got to see your aesthetic. You could put music on it. It was just so perfect.
Yeah. And you actually learned how to do like coding. The most basic of coding because of MySpace. Like, you're just like, oh shit.
We were dedicated. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like, if you wanted it, you had to put in that effort. If you wanted a cool page, better figure it out, Miss IT. But yeah, so I'd say Instagram. Facebook, we have actually more of a reach, but in my opinion, that's burning out. Nobody wants to be on 100%. Facebook anymore. I mean, we can get 100+ likes on the post on Instagram, and on Facebook, our reach will be like, it reached 5,000 people, but it had 10 reactions. So there's no engagement. So I'd say Instagram for sure, doing reels, doing lives, doing, having quality content to post. I'd say next to that would be TikTok.
Right. Yep.
I've had quite a few videos go viral with like 21K plus views, and it definitely did, drive some traffic over to us. But Instagram remains my favorite because TikTok is honestly just a competition of who's the hottest, in my opinion. So if you're not like aesthetically pleasing to everybody, then you're probably not going to get very far.
Oh, man, why did you have to dig at me so hard?
It's not a dig at you, it's a dig at me too.
He's like,
Nobody,
that's
I'm
why
like,
I've been stuck at the same number for so long.
Oh man,
it's unfortunate. It's so true though. You either have to be doing all the trends that everybody else is doing for that sound to take off, for people to want to see it because that's what's getting viewed the most, or some sort of silly trend. And when you're trying to only focus on like your business solely, it's just a little tricky for anybody to just like be able to watch it and it get consistently viewed.
Absolutely.
For sure. I can understand that.
Yeah. And you're also competing with everybody who's trying to make the next gold rush, like that's always what I see TikTok at is, anybody can try to do anything and try to make it go viral. And there's truth that, like, there's a lot of truth to that, but like, just like with winning the lottery, it's probably not going to happen to you.
Probably not, unfortunately.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you never know if you don't try.
You never know if you don't try.
This is true. It's still worth trying. Definitely. We still have a TikTok. But
Oh yeah.
It's just that like bittersweet catch-22 with any social media. It's just I don't want to fucking do this, but I really gotta.
Yeah. I just took a 3-month hiatus from all social media. I actually just came on last week from being off 3 months.
Man, that must have been awesome.
It was jumbled there, but it's fantastic.
Pretty freeing, I would assume.
Oh yeah, my mind was just like so clear. It really helped because like it's not, mental health gets triggered by so many things that we don't expect. It's very odd. Like the smallest thing can trigger something, and I've realized that, especially after taking this most recent hiatus. But like, I mean, especially with politics still being talked about, just left and right, all these things that just like pop in a little trigger, and then your mind starts going. And it's like my mind would never silent. And so, or a notification comes in and I have to check it. And it's just like,
check it. Yeah,
I gotta check it. It's just like so frustrating. So it was so peaceful to just have 3 months where I was just able to focus on, I put priority on myself, and it was pretty good.
So how does that balance between, being a mental health advocate with all of your whole brand around mental health, and realizing that when it comes to a business, you have to have these things, you have to have these tools. How do you balance that and still try to promote mental health in the way that we're trying to right now?
Yeah, that's the tricky part that I was trying to figure out. And the reason I got off was because I realized how bad I was kind of starting to spiral. My depression was getting super bad recently, and my anxiety was amping up. And so I was journaling every day when I was off of social media about what it was benefiting me and what I missed from it. And so I think it's really about being able, you're sure to prioritize yourself. So I have like rules now. Like I will not check my phone first thing in the morning. I don't need to sit there and check Instagram or anything. Yeah. I won't check it until like maybe I'm on my lunch break at work and I literally have nothing else to do and I'm just trying to like zone out. And then when I'm in the car with my family, if I'm in the passenger seat, I don't want to just be aimlessly scrolling. So for Disorderly, I have business hours. So I have my lunchtime where I can focus, respond to messages, make a post, etc., have some post engagement with other, pages. And then in the evening, once my kids are in bed, is when I go back on the phone and then prioritize posting on my page or the business page or what have you. Because if I don't do that, then I'm just being a hypocrite when I tell people to prioritize themselves and their mental health when I'm not effectively taking those steps myself.
And that seems like a really fine line to have to try to balance, or even to try to figure out how to balance.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, more power to you. Like, holy shit. Like, and I've done detox before. Like I deleted Facebook off my phone. Like I don't need it like at all. And I just found myself going, oh shit. Like I have so much more time.
I know.
I have so much more time. I could
do weird.
Yeah. Like, and then for me, it's like, you know what, now that I have this time, what are the things that I've wanted to do? Okay. Dive into studio work. Cool. Pulls up like a tutorial on how to do something on YouTube, and then just fill my time with knowledge.
Knowledge. Kind of like you're from the East Coast for 2 seconds.
Almost had it.
Almost had it. But yeah, and I mean, the thing about it too, which is there's a great aspect. I'm sorry if you hear my furnace. I'm in my basement and that thing just kicked on really loud. But there's a positive aspect to having a brand and being a safe space for people. And that is that I am consistently having conversation about mental health. But in retrospect, sometimes it is also very difficult when I am dealing with my own mental health and nobody is asking how I am. And so I'm dealing with my own insanity that I can't even figure out and help myself with, but I'm uplifting other people. And so it's tricky. It's really tricky because it's no one's responsibility to help you. And I'm also not reaching out.
Right. It's hard to charge somebody else's batteries when you're already at zero.
Yes, no, yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, from like I said, when I was working in the mental health field, your job once you get to work is you are told immediately in training, like first day, whatever your problems are, you leave them at the door, and you aren't in this person's home to make them feel worse. You are here to help them, and that's really difficult if you have problems yourself.
Right.
So
all right, well, we got one more question for you here before we move on to our next segment. If you had to give one bit of advice to somebody looking to start up a project like this that you wish you had when you were first starting out, what would it be?
It'll never be the right time. Just do it. It'll never, there will always be a million reasons why you can't, but if there's one reason why you can, you should just give it your all.
That's awesome.
I love that. That's absolutely true. And that's one of the things that we honestly hear very often. There's never the perfect time. There's never a right time. Just do it.
And you'll never have all the pieces in place.
Right.
There's no perfect scenario.
Exactly. And failure is going to happen, but you have to let that failure be a platform for which you can learn a lesson and do better. It doesn't mean that you yourself are one. You just have to take it as a lesson.
Absolutely.
All right.
With that, we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
Hey, Jeff. Oh, gosh. Hey, thanks so much for watching the video. I wanted to tell you really quick about a bunch of new merch we got in. We got these super cool sweatshirts. Got stuff on the back. We got these new hats in. Oh, man, they're so freaking warm and comfy. We even got these cool shirts. These shirts are cool. All proceeds go back into helping us be able to support up-and-coming bands, so be able to do this full time. So everything is super helpful. We've got these really cool bandanas too. Check them out. www.unsignedpoppunk.com. Link will be in the description below.
And we're back with a very special guest, Amanda Sweeney from Disorderly Clothing. Amanda, welcome back to the podcast. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So the first part of the podcast, however extremely important, is over. We're done with that. Now we're about to get to some absolute and utter bullshit.
Yes, this is our obscure question segment.
Oh, okay.
And now we're at the point to where we just discuss any random thing that has ever come into our head while we're trying to come up with questions.
Oh, it literally takes us zero intention, like I don't want to say thought isn't given to it because we like to think about these ones, but at the same time we it's any thought. There's no thought.
Okay,
it's just
I get it.
Okay,
we got it. I'm excited.
Right. You ready then?
Let's roll.
Okay, so this is going to be a 3-part question here, and this is all of the obscure question right here. It's this moment.
Okay.
So there has been some sort of disaster that's changed our world as we know it.
Dun, dun,
so
dun.
it's going to be like, let's say it's very Walking Dead style.
I was going to say like post-apocalyptic type thing. Okay.
Yep. So there's not a lot of people left and you are all alone.
Got it.
All right. So the first question in that scenario. So you found an old iPod that has a battery life that cannot be depleted, but only has room for 5 artist discographies. Who is on your iPod?
Dang it. I don't like this question. Oh God.
You don't have to.
See, the thing is I felt that this was very fair because you get the entire discography.
Yeah, and that's 5 artists. So like you could have Tool on there and never even like make it through their entire discography. And
or
then just
Iron
die.
Maiden. It's like 15.
Okay. That's true.
Just live CDs.
Though if you do have Tool on your iPod, we're gonna fight.
I don't like Tool.
Good.
Or Perfect Circle or any like other little tiny project they've done. Not a fan.
I like a couple of their songs. I can get behind a couple of their songs.
Their music gives me anxiety. But
okay, but let's get your answers.
Okay, so Paramore.
I like that. I appreciate that. That's a good one.
Yes, I sing and she's my idol. So Hayley Williams, Paramore. I'd have to say Movements, if you guys know who they are.
I do, yeah.
So 2 for 2.
Shoot, Knocked Loose.
Okay.
Blink, probably.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my God, this last one. Why is it so hard?
Because we're putting you on the spot.
It's definitely hard.
Yeah.
Okay, Knocked Loose, Movements. And then honestly, I'd probably put something like the Cinematic Orchestra. I don't know if you know.
Mm-hmm.
But like
I don't know.
Yeah, so it's just they have really like deep music. It's very instrumental based.
Sure.
They're in a lot of like movies, TV shows, etc.
Okay.
That's like the music. But yeah, something mellow, thoughtful.
I would definitely I would have Iron Maiden on mine for certain.
That's
and
fair.
then and then I'd say Green Day at least. Those two, because also first off, I really enjoy those two bands like significantly. But also I love the fact that that is an exceptional amount of music with those two.
Yeah, that is a huge amount of music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. MXPX.
There you go. You want to know who would be my first choice?
Yes.
Matchbox 20.
Oh my God, dude, Rob Thomas is God.
Oh
yes.
Yes. He is.
Yes.
Just
freaking love him.
And then my second artist would be Rob Thomas when he did his solo career.
When he went solo. Dude, I saw Rob Thomas in concert.
You fucking did.
And the opener was One Republic before they were even big.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was great. I was 16. I was drinking. It was a good time.
Dude, One Republic, like, I mean, Ryan Tedder still does a lot of writing, and he did like Songland, and like Ryan Tedder's still super into like the music industry right now. But like, I remember when One Republic was like the fucking pop band back when like pop music was still like
a thing.
Yeah. And like, oh dude, I still listen to One Republic.
Yeah, I like their old stuff.
Yeah.
So, Bear, I've been sitting here thinking on this and holding on to it for a second now.
That's fair.
And I want to go out of my way. I want to go out of my way really quickly to ruin something for you. I just want you to know that all of that Rob Thomas you picked, you don't get the fucking best one. You don't get the Santana song.
Santana is the best one.
Yes,
He's right.
It's the best song. No, you don't, because that is Santana featuring Rob Thomas.
Rob Thomas, yeah.
I'm sorry, buddy. I know that.
No, but that's part of his discography because he helped write the song.
It's a Santana song, bud. I don't know.
This is a conflicting topic now.
Now I'm upset. Now I'm trying to figure out what defines discography.
Like,
I got to know how I could fight this.
Yes, because if my third artist has to be Santana, it's gonna be. You know what I mean?
Because I need that song.
To get that song, it's gonna be.
It's gonna be Santana. That's so good.
I hope you like the rest of Santana.
Oh, I do. I absolutely love Santana. Like,
nice,
fucking awesome. Like one of the most incredible musicians who like he helped pioneer the idea of musicians being the leader of their band in like the early thousands. Now, like we had like musicians and like big bands where like we had like, you know, musician leaders because there were no vocalists, but you know, because of Carlos Santana, you know how people like Kenny Wayne Shepherd, you know, you have people well, not because of Carlos Santana, but like he helped bring that into the light, and it was fucking awesome with what he did. So yeah, I'll take Carlos Santana. Hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah, Santana's amazing. Can't knock him.
All right, next question. You found a turned over semi truck filled with a lifetime supply of your favorite snack or dessert. What is it?
It's gonna be a truck full of Takis. I don't know if you guys know what those are. Yeah.
All right.
My
Hot Cheetos
stomach
and
will not
Takis.
thank me.
Hot Cheetos and Takis. I can't get enough of my hot Cheetos and Takis. That's it. That's all I got. That's all I remember.
Was that from something? Because if it
it's a song, dude. You don't know that song?
I don't know that song either.
But thank you for serenading
I was
me.
grooving, yeah, but I don't know what
guys, after this podcast, I'm telling you, first thing you do, you pop onto YouTube and you look up Hot Cheetos and Takis.
Hot Cheetos and Takis.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it.
But for a second, I just want you to understand that both mine and Amanda's,
I don't know.
You just came that up on the spot and
we
enjoyed that.
I thought it was genius. Man. Yeah, I was like, wow.
I wish I could take the credit of like this troop of like 13-year-old.
I'm with my crew.
Oh God.
it's a like a hip hop rap song of a bunch of like little kids, and it's incredible.
Nice. Oh God, I loved the early days of YouTube. All right, Pat, take the last question.
It's not even that old. Okay.
Well, damn. I guess
so. Last question. In your post-apocalyptic land, you found three options on your travels of places that you can live that have like any sort of entertainment, but you only get to pick one of them. So there's a place with a library still filled with all of their up-to-date books, a YMCA with a gym, sports stuff, and a pool, or a movie theater filled with movies. What do you pick?
I'm gonna pick probably the movie theater because I feel like I can just vicariously live through said people and like imagine I'm like many places and not be so sad and lonely.
Yeah. Speaking of a movie theater, did you see that whole thing about Leonardo DiCaprio
no.
renting out a movie theater to take his girlfriend on a date?
Oh my God.
That's dope. Love him.
Yeah, okay, but she broke up with him for it because he rented out the entire movie theater. And I don't know if this is true or not. I just thought it was funny as hell. Rented out the entire movie theater. Took her with him to watch all of the Star Wars movies, and he ran around the theater with a lightsaber.
Are you joking? Why would you leave him?
This sounds like the best person ever.
All I'm saying is like he dodged a fucking bullet the moment she broke up with him. Like,
yeah. Okay. Did you branching off of that? There was something that I saw today, an article about how Leonardo was trying to force Jonah Hill to watch.
Yes.
What was it?
Wasn't it Star Wars?
I think it was Star Wars, right?
I think it was still Star Wars.
Yeah, and people were like so mad and they're like making it seem like Jonah Hill was like totally dissing Baby Yoda and all. He was just like, I'm just not interested in watching this. I'm sorry.
That's sad for Leo, man.
Leo, if you're out there,
hit us up, bro. We all three of us right now. We will go watch this.
We'll go
movie.
watch and run around with lightsabers.
Yeah, we'll pay for it.
I'll pay for you. I'll pay for your dinner.
Yeah,
Leo.
Yo, Leo, take me out to dinner.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo.
Leo. No, for real. That'd be dope.
That'd be awesome as fuck. And if he doesn't come, we'll shoot for Ryan Reynolds. Okay.
Second best.
I don't fucking know. All right. Are you ready for our next segment?
Yes.
This is it.
This is it. This is the last one.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay. This next segment is called Rapid Fire Question Segment.
Okay.
Pat, do you want me to take it or you want to take it? Normally you take it.
Okay, sure. So for rapid fire questions, you are gonna speak from the heart and shoot from the hip, right? Okay, there's no thought. You are literally, we're gonna give you an option and you're gonna answer it.
Okay.
Thoughtless. You ready?
I'm ready. Thoughtless.
All right. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you.
MTV or Fuse?
MTV.
PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation.
Thank you.
Is a sweatshirt a sweater?
No.
And that's coming from a clothing brand person. So
Yeah, no.
fuck you.
I agree.
I believe sweaters are knitted
Yes.
yeah, no.
A sweater is a completely different
It's a
article
completely
of
different
clothing than a
article of
sweatshirt.
clothing.
Yeah,
I
it's
agree.
sweatshirt.
However, I hear people say, well, check out my sweater all the time. It's like, well, that's not a sweater.
That's a
Sweatshirt.
hoodie.
It's
That's a hoodie. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Tom DeLonge or Matt Skiba?
Tom,
Oh yeah.
Guitar Hero or Rock Band?
Guitar Hero,
Final question. Newfound Glory or Simple Plan?
Newfound Glory.
You're right.
All right.
Good job. You passed.
Yes.
We did it.
Yes.
Though I still say Simple Plan, but that's only because I'm a sad little bitch at heart.
Me too.
No.
I'm still just a big old emo kid.
Look, and once again, like, I like Simple Plan. I enjoy them, but I've said before that Simple Plan to me has done nothing better than when they performed with the orchestra. That changed my life right there. That was so good.
amazing.
If you haven't
But
watched it, they posted it for free on YouTube as well, and
It's
it is
amazing.
so
I agree.
Yeah,
good.
It's so good. But here's the thing
Amazing.
too. I also believe that it stems from who you heard first when. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I
So,
think
like-
so too because it's nostalgic. Like,
Exactly.
Right.
So I got
Where
into
were
Simple
you?
Plan. I got into Simple Plan from the soundtrack of Cheaper by the Dozen when I was a kid.
oh wow, how funny.
Oh yeah. And I'm like, that's it. That's fucking this is it.
Yeah.
And just-
I remember I had a friend who I just thought she was so cool, and she was older than me, and her were hanging out in like this wicked cool garage basement like game room thing they had, and Newfound Glory was playing, and I was like, this is it. This is what I want to
That's
be. This is my
Yep.
aesthetic.
Yep, and that
Mhm.
that was the same thing. I remember sitting in my basement, in the basement of my mom's house, and just listening to the self-titled album over and over and over again, like
Yeah.
just on repeat.
Yep.
It's so
And
good.
I mean, the same thing for me with Blink. That's my all-time favorite band in the entire world. My mom and uncle went to high school with Travis, and
Wow.
Travis was in the marching band with my uncle. And so I grew up because they grew up in the area. They started doing, backyard shows, garage shows. So my mom had all the cassettes, the original demo cassettes. So when I was little,
Wow.
I would throw those on in my garage and rollerblade for hours. So from the ripe old age of like 5 up until adulthood, they were my favorite.
Do you still have them?
Nope. And I'm depressed as all hell because of it.
See, I am happy to say that at least for Blink 182, I came into the Blink 182 picture back at Dude Ranch.
Yeah.
I am like, there is no Blink 182 better to me than Dude Ranch.
Yeah.
As much as I love Travis Barker, but that album is Blink 182 to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a great album. And I met Travis. I got VIP passes to a Blink show, and I got to like actually touch him and like be next to him and have a conversation. And it was so just like life changing. And that was when Matt was in the band. So it's just it was just so cool. It was like life changing.
Well,
I got to touch Travis Barker once as well. He was riding around at Warped Tour on his bike, and I bumped into him, and I was like, "It's Travis Barker!"
I got to touch Pat once.
Yeah.
Did you?
Well, we shared a bed. A few times.
Oh,
Sure.
it sounds intimate.
Couple
This
times.
is another segment called Late Night Talks.
Afterthought.
It's just-
Afterthoughts.
After hours. No.
It's afterthoughts. No.
They have
So
to pay for that one.
this just makes me think of like this is gonna go like on an obscure tangent really quick, but so when I was in one of my first bands called And Then I Turned 7, we were wandering around New York City, and
As one does.
yeah, I mean we were on tour, and we're like, fuck it, let's go into New York City, because that was our lead singer's like favorite thing. We would just go walk around Times Square I mean, we didn't do anything other than just walk around Times Square.
You didn't even go to the M&M store?
I honestly, I don't remember if they even had
the
one.
whole reason I even go to Times Square.
I don't go to Times
stresses
Square.
me out.
Yeah. Otherwise, I don't give a shit.
So we're wandering, just wandering around, and then I think it was the Tonight Show. Dave Matthews came running out of the Tonight Show, and now Dave Matthews was my lead singer Dane's like golden god. Like that was his like.
He's
holy
rightfully
shit.
so.
And I remember seeing like him run out, and I was like, hey guys, this is Dave Matthews. And Dane's like, oh shit, you know, he's like freaking out. And I just go like, Dave Matthews. And he like looks at me, and I go running up to him. I'm like,
oh my God.
I'm like, Dave Matthews, what's up? And he's like, oh, hey, you know, hey, how are you guys doing? And I was like, I like you. You do some pretty good music, but my buddy over here, he fucking really likes you. Like, can you say hi to him? And he was just like pacing back and forth. It was so great.
You realize that you were the person everyone hates at that moment.
I did it an even more inappropriate like one as well, which I don't feel bad about because it was a phenomenal moment. But I do care. I'm going to, yes. But I do feel bad just because it was like just a dude just trying to like do his shit and not be bothered, you know?
Right.
So I was walking around the Mall of America.
As one does.
As one does with my buddy Johnny. And he's a huge, massive hockey fan. And as we're walking, I see I recognize, and I go, fucking Wayne Gretzky.
Oh my God.
And he turns, and he's shopping with his family, you know? And I run up to him, and I run up to him, I'm like, like, what's up, dude? Like, you fucking, hey. And I was like, can I shake your hand? He's like, yeah. I'm like, cool. Thank you for hockey. And
oh my God.
Because I didn't know what to say, because it's the fucking, oh shit. That's not what I said. It was more embarrassing. I didn't say Wayne Gretzky. I said, great one.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I yelled great one. And then I was running up, I said, fucking Wayne Gretzky. And then I thanked him for hockey. And then I pulled my buddy up there. And I'm just like, Johnny, he does hockey. You do hockey. I don't really. You could be
hockey friends.
You're the ultimate wingman.
Yeah, you are clearly.
Only sometimes, because as Bear has seen, I am also very like nervous around people.
That's very true.
It for both of those instances, it was just like a fucking I saw them and I screamed type thing, you know. And
then there had to be action after that, because otherwise that's just scary.
Otherwise it's just and then you just keep going on with your day.
Dude, I have a famous meeting person story. I was a supervisor at Starbucks. I'm born and raised in California, and I was a supervisor at a very popular Starbucks. And it's a crazy, crazy day. Our lobby is completely jam-packed. I'm working the line. I have to pee. I tell everybody, I'm like, hey, be right back. I got to go to the bathroom. Run over to our bathroom. We have a men's bathroom, women's. I go in the women's, locked. I'm standing there for like 3 solid minutes, still can't get in there. So I'm like, screw it, I'm going to go into the men's bathroom. And it's like a 1-person stall thing, right? So I'm going to go in there, close the door, run out. I'm knocking on the door because like there's nothing going on in there, and no one's tried to come in or out. And the door swings open, and there's a petrified Drew Barrymore standing right there. And I'm like, holy shit, you're Drew Barrymore. And she's like, yes, I am. And she has a bunch of makeup in her hand, and she was doing her makeup in the men's restroom. She's like, that lady in there is like blowing it up, and I'm trying to get ready because I have to go to a screening in Palm Springs. And she's like, I was like, oh yeah, it's totally fine. And I realized she didn't want anybody to see her, so I was very quiet. I told her I loved her. She gave me a hug, and then she like ducked out and left. I went to the bathroom and came back frozen. Like I was just standing there, and I was like, what do I do now? Like, I just hugged fucking Drew Barrymore. No one's ever going to believe this, that I ran into her in the men's restroom, like of all places.
That's amazing.
She'll never forget me. She can't.
It's impossible.
It's impossible.
I have one other really funny story that at least is funny to me. But so I used to have this like kind of geek pop culture company called Bang Zoom Kaboom, and I basically sold I just sold nerd culture stuff like Pops, Funko Pops, and things like that.
Yeah.
And I was at this convention where I had a booth, but Jason Momoa was there, and I was like, it's the fucking Aquaman. I'm gonna go get his autograph. You know, I didn't care if I had to pay the $80 for Jason Momoa, who was a gentleman. I'll say.
Was he?
Oh yes,
and a scholar.
He's seriously was a very fucking nice person. But as I'm waiting in line, right, this dude comes up to me, puts his arm around me. He's like, "Who we waiting on?" And I look, and it was Will Friedle. And if you know who Will Friedle is, he's the older brother on A Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, hey, you're Will Friedle." And he's like, "What's up?" And I'm like, I was like, "Hey," and I was like, we're just waiting to see Aquaman." And he's like, "Nice. He's a good looking dude." I'm like, yeah, I mean, sure. Yeah. He's got muscles, you know? And so we're talking. And he's like, I was like, you know, it sucks. Like I'm a vendor. I actually wanted to go see you earlier because I wanted to tell you, I was like, I really didn't watch a lot of Boy Meets World. But I was a gigantic fan of this movie he did with Jennifer Love Hewitt called Trojan War. And now it is a super fucking obscure movie. I have it on VHS, 2 copies.
2 copies.
And he's like, and I just told him, I'm like, yeah, I wanted to come see you just so I could tell you, like, I fucking love this movie like so much. And he's like, nice. So you were the one.
What?
And I was like, what do you mean by that? He's like, oh, no one liked that movie. No one did. I'm like, dude, I rented that movie all the fucking time. All the time.
That is so great.
And he's like, well, shit, dude. He was like, well, fuck. It was nice to meet you. Like, is like, oh, it was cool to like see somebody that like actually like, you know, something other than A Boy Meets World. I'm like, dude, fuck Boy Meets World, man. You're Trojan War.
Better than that.
Well, Amanda, you did it. You made it through the podcast.
Yay!
Congratulations. Here's a
Thank
cookie.
Thank you.
Pat and I are seriously thinking about trying to figure out a way to like deliver something, like to pre-plan, like either talk to like a spouse or like somebody's mom or like something where it's just like we'll like text them, now's the time, we're like, here's the cookie, and then like your mom just comes in.
Oh my god. Thank you.
Oh shit.
And then you can do ASMR of me like biting into it. Like, wow.
And that's for our Patreon.
Yeah.
Before you go, we want to make sure that you plug your band. Well, not band. We always say band because we always have bands on here. Plug your brand. Plug Disorderly. Plug yourself. Where can we find you? How do we support you? And what we can do as listeners.
Awesome. Yeah. So obviously we're on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok as Disorderly Clothing. On each of those platforms, there is a link to our website, which is currently only a big cartel, but it is what it is. On there, you'll also find some resources if you're struggling with any mental health issues, substance abuse, domestic violence, you name it. We have a ton of hours that they're open operation. We have pre-orders more often than not. We will be dropping some new stuff in the coming weeks, and a portion of our proceeds go to charity. So it's not all for naught. But yeah, you can find us there, any platform, and we're always a safe space. So don't hesitate to reach out.
All right. Thank you so much, Amanda. This has been another episode of Where Did All My Friends Go? A podcast about life in the music industry.
That's
see
it.
You next week.
We'll see you next week. We did it. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe. Thank you to those who already are. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, or anywhere else you stream your podcast. If you're in the position to help us grow, head over to our Patreon at www.patreon.com/unsignedpoppunk. Let us know in the comments below who you'd like to see on the show and what other content you'd like to see. Thanks so much.